Hey, everybody, this is Stephen G. Fullwood from the Nomadic Archivist Project, and you have tuned into the Nat Kickback. I'm joined today by my wonderful, amazing, she does everything anyway, Miranda Mims, our co host for the evening. And I just want to say, after 18 episodes, this is our 19th live stream, and we're so excited about talking about family reunions and that sort. But I also want to note that this is our last kickback for the season. Am I right, Miss Miranda? Awesome. This is really great. So, I want to tell you guys a couple things. One, we're going to be going on break until September, but please feel free to go through our older episodes to see the kinds of things that we've been talking about with related to preservation, taking care of photographs, how to do oral histories, and so forth. We spent a lot of time working on this stuff, and we would love for you to engage us this way. Feel free to leave a comment, like it if you like it. This is really a joy for us. And again, summertime is here, family reunion time. Um, but Miranda and I, we've been doing a lot of work lately, and I kind of want to catch up with Miranda and say, hey, so Mimsy, where have we been for the last? Where were we last week?
I don't know where were we, Stephen? Maybe you should
Where
puff
were
up your
we?
chest a little bit
No,
so
I
people can
think
see
we
it.
were at Avery Research Center, which gave a
Yeah, we
conference called "Those Who Have Must Turn Around and Give Back." I think it's close
something
to
like
that,
that.
right?
Yeah, something like that. Yes,
It's
but it was
really
in
wonderful.
Charleston,
It's in
so we
Charleston,
were
South
yeah
Carolina,
kicking it in the
and
South for a week.
for about a week. And so this conference brought together educators, archivists, scholars, and folks concerned with taking care of Black culture in some manner, shape, or form. And so it was really wonderful. Miranda and I gave a talk where we focused on how to think about collecting for communities, collecting the archives of a community. And it was well received. We'll probably do it again. It was the first time we did it, and it involved us thinking through, if your community is interrupted, what kinds of things would you keep to help tell the story of that particular community? Right, Mims?
Well, yeah, but did you say a talk or a workshop?
I did say talk, and I usually mean workshop. So yes, it was a workshop.
Okay, yeah, because we did very little talking, which was actually wonderful. We,
For someone who doesn't like to talk, I love to talk. I'm always talking. I'm talking right now. So it
yeah,
was a lovely workshop. Yeah.
yeah, it was a workshop, and yeah, I mean, it seemed like it went pretty well. We this was our like I guess our first time doing this activity. So it was good to kind of see how it would go. And I think it was fun, because of
Hmm.
the diversity of people in the room. Like
Right.
Stephen was saying, people who are there for teaching purposes and people who are there for archival purposes. It was
Hmm.
it was kind of cool to do something like this with them
Hmm.
to see where people come from the different vantage points when attacking or when thinking about preserving,
Hmm.
certain records that tell a certain story. So it was
Right.
cool. It was fun. There, we were there for 3 days for the
3 or 4 days.
actual,
Yeah.
yeah, 3 or 4
Hmm.
days. Um, so it was a good time. Anything in particular, Stephen, that you stuck out for you?
Kind of was just what you said. It was that there were different people from different disciplines there, and I think the last conference that I went to like that was the Black Communities Conference, which used to be held in North Carolina on a annual basis up until very recently. And so they would invite geographers, historians, teachers, cooks, anyone who had some aspect of Black culture. So this was similar to that at a smaller scale. So I like being able to talk shop with different kinds of professionals. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
uh, well, I want to get right into it, Miranda. And so this is the second part of our workshop, or now I say workshop, the second part of our
the kickback.
kickback. The kickback is the family reunion, part two. And so with this particular episode, we so now that your family reunion is over, or even if it hasn't started yet, these are some, Miranda and I are going to talk about some of the things that you might want to consider doing to preserve the family reunion event. We all get prepared for it, and we're always doing programs and journals and special kinds of things to kind of get our family reunions going. But then what happens after that, or what could happen during that? And so, Miranda, I'm actually about to have a go to a family reunion in August, but you recently had one, right?
Yeah, so my family reunion was, the weekend of Memorial Day
Mm-hmm,
weekend. Um,
mm-hmm,
and, it was about so I guess now what are we yeah, about 3 weeks ago now.
mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm,
it feels like it was longer than that, but yeah, 3 weeks ago now.
mm-hmm. And so with the 3 weeks, so I'm very interested in, like, because you were one of the architects, you were one of the people putting it on. Um, I'm very interested in finding out more about the moments that you experienced during the family reunion. Like, what were some standout moments for you related to people coming, or people engaging in activity, or like what were some of the things that you remember that you thought, I really like this. This is good.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest piece, like the biggest thing for me is that, for my reunion, for my family, um, people were coming from all across, the United States. So from
Hmm.
Texas, from California, from
Okay.
Florida, DC area. So just all over the place. And a lot of people in Kansas City. So a lot of people know maybe knew each other, but it's been so long since we've had a family reunion. So there's a lot of
Hmm.
people who either like we met when we were kids and now we're all grown up, or
Mm. Hmm.
we've never met. It's been a long time, and so I think that was the most interesting and the best
Oh.
part for me was just to see, like, people coming together and like learning who everybody is again.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I
Who they're
think,
related to. Yeah.
right, yeah, who everyone's related to, and making like new connections. And so I think for me that was probably the best part to kind of witness.
Hmm.
And I feel like, for the most part, like if your family is in one area and you somewhat see each other throughout the year, the reunion,
Hmm.
it takes on a very different, your reunions, which I think for you, because you have an annual reunion, right? And it's always
Correct.
in the
Hmm.
same location.
On my mind side, yes.
Right. And so
Hmm.
that might take on a very different feel to it. I don't know
Hmm.
what are the different, like from year to year, because you guys do it annually, from year
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
year, what are some of the draws for you when people get together each year? Are most people see each other throughout the year, or is this really like an opportunity, like the first opportunity or the only opportunity to get together as a family?
So, for the most part, the Houston family is located in Toledo. So, they see each other a lot more than I see them because I live in New York. So, it's me coming home and seeing, watching my nieces and nephews and my younger cousins grow older. Right now, I'm 60. So, a lot of my mom's siblings have passed. And so, we're the elders. And so, that's a relatively new development in the last 4 or 5 years, essentially.
Mm,
And so we're the ones typically organizing the whole thing, getting, reserving the park space and getting there in the morning and getting the grill set up. And so I would say my cousins and my siblings have a fundamentally different experience because I'm going home and I want to see them. Right. So I try to
right.
see as many people as I can.
Yeah.
And I think one of the highlights of the reunion is always sort of like family lore, asking about different situations and finding out what people know about and think
Mhm.
about it. And my cousin Bobby managed to he scanned a lot of photographs, and so while he was there, he had his hard external hard drive, so I was able to download those onto Google in the park. And I was super happy because those photographs mean a lot to me. And
Yeah.
of course, they were of a family reunion. Most of them were. So that was pretty awesome. So yeah.
How big is the Houston family?
Wow, that's a good question. Maybe I should count. But I would say um My mom's siblings, I believe most of them had children except for one of the younger uncles. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I would say, how was it? Just over 100? Just over
So,
100?
okay, so you have about 100 people who attend.
Well, no. That's about how many people are alive. People
Oh,
vary
okay.
from
Yeah.
reunion to reunion, which is
Okay.
really like right now. My aunt Margie, who passed away in 2000, she actually when my mom passed away in 1997, she inaugurated the Houston family reunion. So we're coming up on the 29th year of meeting, which is pretty awesome.
Okay. And
Hmm.
you said that she recently passed away too?
No, she passed away in 2000. She passed
Oh,
away
2000. Okay.
26 years ago. Hmm.
So you're how many people typically, so there's about 100 people in the family, and then how many people typically show up from year to year? Like on average.
Varies. I would say on average anywhere from 40 to 50 people throughout the day. We usually
Okay.
start in the morning and we usually finish up around 5 or 6. It gets kind of, it might rain but typically um, we slow down around 5 or 6. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So 1 year somebody might come, next year they might decide not to. So it's a
Hmm.
little bit more. Okay. I see. All right. So it was one of the biggest things too, with my family reunion.
Hmm.
I mean, putting it together, it happened very, very fast. Like it wasn't like we had a year or 2 years to plan. We had a
Ah,
couple of
you said
months.
that. Yeah.
And so, we put the call out of who was actually going to come. And so
Hmm.
the number did creep as, at first we were thinking it would be like 50, 60 people, and then it started creeping to 80, 90, 100 people.
Okay.
And it was well over 100 people. I don't know what the head count was at the
Wow.
end because, at that point,
That was
when
my
people came,
question.
they just
Yeah.
showed up and, you know, didn't really think about it. But there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people,
Hmm.
and people I never expected to come. So I also thought
Okay.
that that was interesting that people showed up and most of the people who were probably local to Rochester, but my family's much bigger.
Hmm.
And I wish I had the picture of us, because my niece took a
Oh,
neat picture of us.
oh, fantastic.
Um,
Yeah.
and it was, so large. It's just, we have one from, on the program that I put together for the reunion. We have
Hmm.
a picture of the family reunion in Kansas City in 91, and looking at
Wow.
that picture and then looking at the picture that we just took, the
Hmm.
family's obviously a lot bigger.
Hmm.
But I was so amazed that so many people came. So
That's great.
what is the draw, do you think then? Because I
Hmm.
know your draw for you said you don't get to go home a lot.
Hmm.
So that's, this is like your opportunity to see your family all in one space. But what do you think is the draw for your family to do it annually instead of 2 years?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
what do you bring out? You said, people tell stories, but, like one of the obviously we talked about this in the last kickback. One of the things we did was like had videos of,
Hmm.
days past and showed pictures, and it's also another way to like talk to people, get to know what's happened
Hmm.
over the last, couple decades, depending on when you talk to somebody last. So what is the draw for your family since you guys get together a little bit more regularly?
So before I answer that question, I have a comment from someone, Reese Mims 3109, who says, I love family reunions.
Yes.
So do I, Reese.
Yeah, and that's my
I love
mom,
them
and
very
she was at the reunion as well. So if you wanna drop in what what was most meaningful for you for the family reunion, that would be interesting. But
That would
what
be
were you gonna
great.
say,
Yeah.
Stephen?
So I think it's hard to guess for either both sides of my family. So the Fullwoods get together a little less frequently, but there are more people who come they travel more, like from California, from Texas. Um, our family reunion on my dad's side, the Fullwood side, is usually held in Minden, Louisiana. The Houstons, where most people are already, they're in Toledo. So that's what's happening. And I think one of the draws to bring people, they just want to be with each other, see each other, talk to each other. With the Houstons, there's just more activities. So that's the line of demarcation. So the Houstons are more like eat, we play around, do sports, whatever, maybe play some cards. And with the Houstons, we have a whole lineup of things. We're giving out awards to people. We're acknowledging people.
Oh.
We do a program, like a physical program where we highlight our ancestors, people who passed recently, graduations, new births, marriages. It's
Oh,
just
this is for
stunning.
the Houstons you do all of that.
No, no, no. For the Fullwoods, that's dad's side. The Houstons are more
Oh,
we get together and we enjoy each other, we eat, we play sports, that kind of thing.
okay, so
So
it's a little more social then, like, I'm thinking it's like a just a family
yeah,
cookout in the end.
social, we take photographs.
Yeah,
It is. I'm trying to, in fact, this year I'm actually going to focus on creating a journal, more like a quarterly journal of information about the Houston family. So I'm debuting that in August. Got to get that done. And
okay.
so, oh, we have another comment. Let's show it on stream. My focus is working on the family tree, so it was great for me to be able to do an update and meet people I had never had the opportunity to talk to previously. That's
Yeah,
Yeah, those are great opportunities. Agreed. I'll see. There are a few stories going on in our family on the Houston side, so I actually want to get more information, kind of record people and talk. Either write it down or record them to find out what they think about these stories. And so and I always take photographs, and we always take a family picture. So we love it. I love it.
yeah, okay. Alright, so yeah, that's interesting the way that you both of your families I think your dad's side, the Fullwood side, is somewhat similar to how,
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, to how, the Bowens, my family line, how
Mm-hmm.
we celebrated. We did it over many days too. It was a big
Right. Mm-hmm.
production, as well. But so there's a lot. Like there was a lot happening. There was a lot captured.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely a lot of swapping of stories and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Like my mom said, a lot of like just getting to know the family tree.
Mm-hmm.
And, I put together a memorial
Mm-hmm.
video
Yeah, I saw it was
recognizing
awesome.
people
Yeah.
who have passed within our family, dating back to some of the earliest ancestors. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so even with that, I had put a call out to the family to see if anybody wanted to contribute to it.
Mm-hmm.
And, as I was actually displaying it, people were like, "Oh, could you add this? Could you add that?
Right. Right.
Could
Right.
you add this person has passed." And so all of that was great because,
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of information that we just didn't have before, or
I love that.
corrections on information. So, and for me, it was great just to really get like deeper into my family tree with creating these things. You
Mm-hmm.
might feel this way from making the program book. You
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
learn more and more about your own family as you're
Mm-hmm.
putting these things together.
I love that. And I think years ago, I might have said this to you when we were working at the library, Schaumburg Library, that I didn't want to know more about somebody I was processing the collection for than I did my own family.
Yeah.
So I began thinking more in depth about my family history. I started collecting stories. Most recently, this is the June is the month my father was born and the month that he passed at the age of 84. And so I began processing, organizing his records,
Mhm.
reading some of the things he left me, and just assembled the stuff. And so throughout the entire month of June, I'm processing that part of the family collection. And it's just been nice going over records and seeing his handwriting, some of the things he wrote to me, and the photographs, the places where he worked. And so I love it. It's a great exercise. It's not always when it's being done, when you're putting together a journal, it's not always being people aren't as responsive at times when you're asking for information. But once
Right.
it's out there, oh my God, they love it. They're like, "Where'd you get
Yes.
this from?" And I'm like, "Well, I got it from your mom back in 1996, and I kept it. And so here's a digital copy of it, the kind of thing." So that I like a lot. I like the family reunions as opportunities to all the things we've just talked about. Talk about getting sharing stories, taking photographs, getting to know people that you haven't met before, a lot of the times for me, meeting new people, as I mentioned, is usually a new niece, a new grandniece, or is it a grandniece, a second? I forget what it's called. Great niece. Yes, great niece. That kind of thing. So that's awesome.
And new partners, yeah.
New
So
partners.
this is actually a
Hmm.
good segue because I think this idea of like where did you get that and who has
Yep.
what and
Hmm.
um, like who's holding on to this and who has this information is a
Hmm.
is the reason for this kickback, right? Because we talked about like this
Yes.
how to
Yes.
use this stuff in
Hmm.
to create in the first kickback part one of this series of
Right.
on the reunions, how to incorporate all our family's history into the
Hmm.
materials for a reunion to help create those connections and bridge
Hmm.
gaps in
Right.
information. But I think this is like from collecting, like you're taking photographs, everyone's taking photographs of the during the reunion and
Hmm.
different things, if you've created things, the program book, all this stuff,
All of it. Yes.
um, over the years, and or just like if you're the family historian, like how are you, um, for you, Stephen, because I know that you put together your program books each year with your cousin, right?
Yes. Cousin Elijah Gage the second. This
Yeah.
man is amazing. Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, just I guess, let's talk about like some ways in which people can not only preserve the materials that they're creating or that have been created or that they have
Hmm.
on their family, but also ways to share it throughout the years so that
Hmm. Yes.
or to make it accessible
Hmm.
beyond just during the family reunion.
So I think one of the first things that we should talk about is how the family reunion is being documented. Is there someone taking video, someone taking photographs, um, and then really connecting with those people so that maybe one way is to put together a Google Drive where everyone puts their photos and videos in so that everyone has access to them. That's something that I did when my cousin had digitized all these photographs. Some of his own family members hadn't seen them in a while, so I said, okay, they're in a Google Drive, and gave everyone gave me their email. Not everyone, but some people gave me their emails, and they were able to access it that way. There were also
Hmm.
photographs, as I mentioned earlier, of a I looked to be about maybe 15 or 16 in these photographs. So I think it was 1982 when it happened. This family reunion, and there are lots of people who are no longer with us in those photographs. So I was so grateful that he had scanned them. I was able to put the Google Drive together, and then other people could access them. So that's one way to make sure that you're providing access to things that are being documented or have been documented for us. So
What did
I'm
he do
great.
with the originals?
He still has the originals, and I'm not sure what he's done with them. I'll be asking him this year.
Okay. And then what about identifying people in the photographs? Is that also a part of the work that you're doing with this group of photographs?
It is, but it hasn't happened at a reunion. It's usually me sending someone a photograph and going, "You see this person from the left, this young girl? Do you know who this is?" Kind of thing. So it hasn't happened at the reunions, but that's something that I may want to do this year.
Hmm.
Come with a lot of photographs and say, "Hey, digital and analog," and say, "Do you know who these people are?"
Right. Yeah.
Um, in fact,
That's a very
we
good.
did do some of that actually the with the tranche of photographs my cousin Bobby showed us. We did do that. It wasn't as official as I needed to. It's like, who's this? And we would talk and laugh, but I wasn't recording it. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm. And
Yeah. That would
so
be good.
for you, was there anyone taking photographs at your reunion and taking video?
I mean, I think a lot of people were. We didn't
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
like a professional photographer.
Okay.
My niece did a lot of great shots.
Oh, cool.
And, but a lot of people were taking video
Hmm.
and photographs and things like that. So there's a
Oh,
lot of
fantastic.
content, especially over, yes, because it was over 3 or 4 days. So, and nights,
Yes.
nights were
Yes.
included because we
Wow.
would have parties throughout the night. So,
Nice.
yeah, there's a lot
Nice.
of there's a lot of evidence of the reunion floating
Yes.
on probably everybody's phones.
Have you thought about reaching out to those family members to do like a little family reunion archive thing online? Is that something you're
So,
thinking
yes,
about?
so I've done that. I created a family website, that's
Ah,
unlocked, so only
nice.
my family members are able to see the website. Once
Okay,
they have to sign in, I give access
it's a
to
great
anybody who's
idea.
interested.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so on the family website, I put up the reunion guide, um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that was created. I put up the memorial video, especially for people who weren't able to come to the reunion. I thought this would be a good opportunity for them to at least see, like some of these
Absolutely.
things.
Good
We have a
idea.
lot of family videos that have been digitized from the past, so I
Mm-hmm.
put those up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then made a group so that and the group is kind of like Facebook. I would think of it as like Facebook.
Okay.
It's a group within the website where people can come in and upload their photos and videos or say anything they want or comment
Mm-hmm.
on other people's photos and videos, on the website. So in this particular group, and you can also download it. So like if you put up,
Oh wow.
somebody in my family put up a photo and I wanted it, for whatever reason, to
Mm-hmm.
have, I could just download it as well. And so
Oh,
I
that's
thought
great.
about a Google Drive, um, but then I thought it could be so Google Drives at some point can be so hard to interact with.
Okay, they're not
Where
as user friendly or as intuitive. You
Well, it's just like
think?
a big folder, right? And then they have
Mm-hmm.
folders within folders. But like a
Mm-hmm.
website's more dynamic. You can like
It
go to
is.
different
Yeah.
pages. You can see, the view of the video page and search the video, and it's a little bit more um interactive, and the
Mm-hmm.
interface is a little more interesting, I think, than just like a Google Drive. Um
Mm-hmm. Oh no, definitely.
and the one of the issues is that it's password protected, so people have to, create a password and remember their password. But with my family, I feel like there's a lot of privacy concerns, and so
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
one of the
yeah.
biggest reasons to do it like this.
Okay.
So that really is just for us. So we'll
I think
see. I
I'm.
haven't had a lot of people contribute to it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of people request access to it, so I know a lot of people have actually looked at it, but in terms
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
uploading, their content, not yet. But I am going to start to really reach out to people to see if they will, so that we don't lose some of that content.
No, that's pretty. That's freaking awesome. I may consult with you later on to get ahead of the game for next year's Toledo Houston Family Reunion about the website because I wouldn't mind doing something like that on a scale that's manageable for me, but I'd really like to have that dynamism in an interface. Right? I'd like that a lot.
And so that's the sharing part. But I also thought, we were thinking, oh, we do, and we did. Um, we made a Facebook page for the family reunion. But I also wanted a space, as as somewhat of the family historian, a space that I could control the content to. So if people
Hmm.
so that content doesn't just get lost on a social media space.
Okay.
And you can do that obviously with a Google folder. That's an easy way to maintain, whoever owns that folder,
Hmm.
can maintain, um, some sort of control over all that content, which is great. So when somebody says, "Hey, whatever happened to that video that such and such took," you could be like, "Oh, here's the video." And that's another reason why, to me, having a website. Um,
Yeah.
and KB asked, who's hosting your website, and right now it's hosted on Wix.
Okay.
Hmm.
Cool. Thank
Yeah.
you, KB. Appreciate that. So yeah,
Um,
definitely want. I can see the thought that went into the concerns of the family around privacy, but also around access. And so this is good. This is good. This is it's inspiring. I wish I didn't have so much to do in my life
we'll
because
see.
I would just start it tonight.
Well, we'll see how. Well, that's actually one of the reasons why, because once I had once I had the layout done,
The
and
architecture
the
and the
content was already created, like, right, you got to create your program book, and for you, it would be interesting to put all the past program books because you have them, right? And so, um, once you've created it, then it's like the structure's there. Because then I was like, okay, now I can just upload all this stuff that we already had
hmm
created, and then because I actually don't take a lot of photographs.
uh-huh.
I was like, it's up to everybody else to upload the photographs and videos. I
Oh,
can
I
just
see. I see.
the space is already created for people
hmm
to do whatever they want with, and so yeah, so I thought, okay, this is a good, and to see how it goes. I don't know. I'm giving it a year to see
Okay.
how this site goes, how people like it. I might, actually pull the family and see, like, was it easy to get onto? Do you like it? Is it easy
Right.
to kind of interact with the content from here? Do you actually
Yeah.
talk? And like you could see, because people could chat together. You could see if people are like actually chatting together, seeing if people
hmm
actually like this as a space to stay connected in between
It's good to do some
gatherings.
surveying to see how it would work out in real time
Right.
because you want it to be useful. You don't
Right.
want it to just sit there. But yeah, and KB says thanks for
And
telling them. Yeah.
yeah, so I think it was like two two pieces of bread for one bird, right? Like the preservation piece. I
I
had,
like the
the
thank you for saying
preservation
that. We don't have
piece.
to kill birds
No,
and we can
no,
just
we don't need to
we
use
can feed
stones.
two birds with one piece of
Yeah,
bread.
the preservation piece and then the access piece. And I think getting that, I think as close, one of the things I really wanted to do too, so it is something to think about for your next reunion, is I wanted to get the website up and out to people fast. Because the
Gotcha.
other thing is, I know that once an event is done, people are really excited about their pictures, and then life
hmm
happens, and
Life
you
happens, right?
and
And
they're
you're back
forgetting
at
that
it.
they even took all these pictures, and they don't have time for this, and they move on with their life, and that's normal, and that's reality.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was the other thing. I wanted to get the site up sooner, as soon as I
hmm
could. And so I think I got it to people like a week after the reunion.
So we talked about preservation, we talked about materials, and so I kind of want to go back to materials briefly. Did people bring analog photographs? They bring documents? Did they bring things that kind of illustrated the history of their family, or was it something that you saw personally? People sharing things,
Some
sharing.
people did. One in
hmm
particular, who I won't name, who's
Okay.
on this on this call, brought many documents.
Surprise.
So some people did, but not as much. I
Okay.
think for the most part, we have not had a reunion in a really long time. So
Okay.
the focus was really on just getting to know people again. And I think,
hmm
you know, if we would have reunions, maybe if they could start up again, um, some of my family is thinking about hosting another one in 2 years. And so if we
Okay.
could go back to having like a 2 year kind of schedule
hmm
for the reunions, I think that might be more of a thing where people will bring things. And
Yeah, I
but I
can see
think
that.
this time it was kind of just really kind of getting to know cousins and getting to know people again.
I like that because it makes me I like this idea of thinking about the frequency of something and then what's the most important thing. It's people talking to each other, people getting to know each other rather than okay, everybody bring one thing, da 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 da, and
Right.
you know, overloading the ask. You just want folks to come and enjoy themselves, get to know people.
Man, I had so many plans though. I was thinking, oh, it'd be great to do like oral history sessions, and
uh-huh,
but
uh-huh.
here's what I'll tell people. If you are the one supposed to be doing this stuff, like the preservation, the archiving, the history,
hmm
the oral histories, you don't be the one planning also the reunion, because
You
you can't
can't.
do everything.
You can't do
Um,
everything. Nope.
you can't do everything. And so at the end of the day, it was kind of, all the things that I wanted to kind of do to get some oral histories from people and to do more, a little more digging and a little more family history. Weren't able to really do that this time around, but
Hmm.
um, all that stuff, if you are trying to, especially if your family doesn't have a lot of documentation,
Hmm.
or you don't know where a lot of your family photographs are,
Hmm.
and you have a chance to have a reunion, think about the different types of activities that where you can start to get this information. Um,
That's a good idea.
yeah,
You've
it's
you've
probably
made me
important.
think of three things. I'm like, yes, I'm one of the people kind of organizing, but I still want to do those other things, like do quick oral histories and get some questions answered. And so, yes, it's easier if there's someone else doing it, but I just gotta find out. I'm hoping that I can do maybe one or two things when I'm not helping out with other things.
Yeah.
And that's it. I can all I can put it. I'm like going, no, Miranda, no, I have to.
I
um,
mean, I don't know.
but I'm also trying to
It's a lot.
inspire some younger folks in our family to do this work, kind of share this with them. So I have, in addition to the journal and doing some general organizing with my siblings and cousins, I will have a list of things, a short list of things that I want to share with my younger folks who I think have an interest in history and genealogy, and see, what it sparks in them, and say, hey, maybe you can help me out with this, and later on I can pass it on to you. Here's the, what do you call it, the ancestry.com picture, just the picture of our families, what it looks like here, who am I
Yeah.
missing, and you know um I got a job for everybody in the world, the universe, and so I'm going to start with my family at this reunion, because I think another difference between the Fullwoods and the Houstons, that the Houstons are they're keeping records, and they're in not just photographs, but they're thinking about other things, and and I did an oral history with my great aunt Ruby, who turns 90 in July. I'm so happy I won't be able to go see her, unfortunately, but doing a video, you know it's like congratulating her to get to 90. But she's one of those people that just has an
Mm,
amazing memory. So I've interviewed her, I think, four times. And yeah, I think that she's fantastic, and so I brought that up for some reason. um, I want to do more oral histories with the people my age right now.
yeah.
Yeah, because we're somewhere between 60 and maybe 70, close to 70. But
Yeah.
we're the elders of the my mom's side of the family right now. So
Right.
that's it's hard to swallow. Evidence is clear, obviously, but it's still like, I'm an elder. Yeah, of course I am. There it is. It's all context, baby.
Or you've
So
had the fortune of living.
exactly, it's sitting there going, I have the answer to everything. Someone pick me up. I need that. Not really, but just it makes me laugh.
So what other ways would you recommend that people think about in terms of preserving content or preserving materials,
So,
um,
mhm.
for specifically for from that are created in um, family reunions, created at family reunions or for family reunions. So like the
So I think
program books, for instance, like
exactly.
how should people, store those
Well,
physically and the digital
yeah, I was thinking
objects?
about that. So I think that the material. It's funny because we're moving. It seems like we're not in a holding pattern, but we haven't really moved away from an analog way of documenting things. But most say the way you got there. Like at one point, I was collecting or preserving. I would create an itinerary for myself. I would take photographs. I create the photographs. Sometimes I print them out, for me or my dad, and I would also think about the things that I've collected while I was in Toledo, and that would be a folder of information, either a
Mm,
digital folder or an analog folder, because I wanted to remember what happened that day or what happened on those days. And so I would recommend that people think about the things that were used to create the trip, um, where they stayed, some evidence of that. There's usually a digital, you paid this, you stayed at the Holiday Inn. There are obviously the photographs. I would recommend if they go to family reunions to take photographs of documents that someone might have that they're not ready to uh, give up or not give up at all, but you just want that evidence. Take photographs of those things, um, and also just kind of maybe even record how you felt about the whole thing. I I do a lot of journaling on a daily basis, and sometimes I will just talk into my phone about a particular thing when I'm walking down the street or don't have access to my computer or a pad because I want to capture that memory of something or that thought. So I love thinking about how people revisiting something, but also having the evidence that you took right after the reunion. You you talk to yourself about how you felt about the reunion itself, the people there. Maybe next year you will be one of the planners, or or you saw something that you would have loved to have seen done, but there are only a couple people planning all this. They can't do everything. So having some reflections are really good. I think they're necessary, and they pay in dividends in terms of you reaching back and listening to yourself, or reviewing something, going, oh, that's I do remember that now, because like you said earlier, after reunion you might be a little excited for a week or two, and then you're back to life, or maybe even sooner you're back to life, and now you're on something else. And so having recording yourself, or just like writing down or typing up your reflections, are really good.
I love that because there's so many conversations that I had over the,
Mm-hmm.
the 3 or 4 days with people, people that I maybe hadn't seen since we were kids, and they were telling me about their life or telling me about
Mm-hmm.
something. And to think, now that you're saying this, yes, I think I haven't done this, but it would
Yeah, I
be
was
good
gonna
to
say,
write it down and
yeah.
say, to kind of, yeah, to reflect on what some of those conversations were, to reflect on the different people that I really had a great conversation with, people that, I didn't have a chance to really
Mm-hmm.
dive in deep with, but, to kind of keep it on my list to reach out to that person later on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, but I think just having that, like, yes, you have all these other things. You have the program, you might have receipts, you might have from
Mm-hmm.
other, spaces
Mm-hmm.
and events that you've been to, you might have the caterers, something,
Mm-hmm.
you might get a sticker.
A
But
receipt,
I think,
stickers, yeah.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think journaling or voice notes about it is actually pretty powerful as
Mm-hmm.
well. You've got your photographs, but yeah, I
And
think
so, and I
that's a
know how
good.
busy you were. You were doing a lot of things around the time with the Nomadic Archivist Project, your family reunion. There were other things, so it was back to back for you.
Yeah. So I
So,
haven't had a chance to really reflect,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
um, in that way, but I didn't actually think about it until you just said so. So now I might.
Actually, when you asked me the question, I said, "What is a unique thing that I don't hear much about?" And sometimes I don't see. I know that people reflect and we talk about these things, but it's not written down. It's like I went to my family reunion. It was the first time I ever met my cousin, and now we're best friends, and we talk all the time, and we're friends on Facebook. Da da da. I like those little anecdotal things that can slip away sometimes from you because again, life intervenes, and that's what you do. You know.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I think, I think that's a lot of it. I think if you're just attending, year after year, definitely say t-shirts,
Mm-hmm.
save
Mm-hmm.
those things. Those are really interesting to kind of
Yeah.
come back to. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
if you're the family historian, to do as much as you can to, if you get photographs and people, if they send them to you, to make sure you get, the names and dates of the people in the photographs, when it was taken, where it was taken, all that stuff is really, really helpful later
Mm-hmm.
on when you're trying to identify people, or if you pass your collection on to somebody else, they know
Right. Mm-hmm.
who and what and where and all the questions that kind
All
of
the
come up.
questions. Yes.
And yeah, oral histories are always great to,
Mm-hmm.
during, but if you can't do it during a family reunion, think about it later on. We all have our, phones. It's so easy to record somebody, if you
Mm-hmm.
can't, if you're not physically with them, but you had a great conversation with them. during the
Mhm.
family reunion, reach out to see if they might want to do a Zoom, and you can record it that way.
Mhm.
But to there's all different types of ways in which to sort of document, but the preserving of it, just make sure when you are, if it's physical items, that you're kind of keeping it in as safe a space as you possibly can, in an environment that is somewhat marked. So if you're doing it every year like Steven, you might want like a box for that year. It could be a small box, a shoe box for that year's
Mhm.
materials.
Right,
Or
right.
if it's smaller than that, a folder. If you're always wearing your shirts, whatever, they're in your closet.
Mm.
So it might just be a folder with a couple of the program books. But just make sure you're kind of labeling things. You understand where things are. If it's digital, that,
Right.
the biggest thing you could do is just put all of your photos into a folder that says reunion 2026 and keep it moving.
Yep, and keep
You
it
might not
moving.
have
Mhm.
time to identify everybody in the photos. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that's, that it is what it is. You can go deeper and put names on, who's in the photos, or you could just keep it. But anything you can do to sort of um, identify what is in a particular box or a folder or in a photograph, is really, really, really helpful later
Mhm.
on, when you start to
Very.
forget and you've got all these other things to
Yes.
do. The other thing is, if you are keeping it in, and especially if you're the one that has a lot of the family history and you're keeping it in something like a Google Drive or Box, or what is it,
Excuse me.
Dropbox,
Mhm.
anything else that's shared, to make sure that you're not the only administrator. Find, like
Smart.
a trusted family member where
Mhm.
they also have access to this content. Because,
Mhm.
the
Yep.
last thing you want is for somebody else to, just never know that it was there. So I
Right.
always say this: if you're doing something, if you have a plan, if you're working on something, especially something that has to do with your family, to make sure that you're not the only one that knows about it. Somebody else knows where it's at.
Absolutely.
Somebody else has
Mhm.
access to it in case anything happens to you. It's so important,
Critical.
to, yeah,
Mhm.
have that second administrator, a second person
So,
that has,
even second or third, who
or
knows, you know?
yeah,
Absolutely.
we always talk about, if it's digital, that that you have a hard drive, a backup, and so maybe that person has your hard drive.
Mhm.
Or if it's in the cloud, that person also has access to that cloud folder.
Absolutely.
Or if it's in your house somewhere, you've left some sort of something on the boxes or in the closet, or something that says, this is what this is,
Mhm.
so people
That's it.
understand how special it is, so it doesn't get
Mhm.
lost or anything else happens to it. But
Yes.
any other, I think we're coming up on time. We were a little late today. That's my bad. I was running late today. But any other thoughts do you
Mhm.
have about preserving family reunion?
I would say very briefly that it's your family is unique and it deserves the history of your family, your people, obviously the people, the history of what they're creating through documentation, photographs, and whatnot. Please, please know that it is unique. It may not ever happen again. There will only be one copy of something, and it deserves to be taken care of properly. So you're more than worth it. Obviously, I don't have to convince anybody that they're worth it, but your records are worth it as well.
Right. All right. Well, on that note, we've got one last comment.
Ah, I'll put it up. I
Reese
wonder
says
who that is.
she is a trusted family member. Yes,
Yes, yes, yes.
it really does. It does help.
It makes all the difference. It can make all
Makes
the
all
difference.
the
Yes.
difference. All the difference. Well, Stephen, so this has been a great year of kickbacks. This is our, I guess it's our,
19th. It's
yeah,
number
this is,
19.
we started last January. No, we started in 2025, January 2025, trying to do these kickbacks, and
Hmm.
every other Tuesday.
Hmm.
And we've gotten a little more successful, I feel like, this year in
A
2026.
little clearer, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
we had
Yeah.
a lot
Te-
more technical issues the
yes.
first year, and figuring it all out.
Hmm.
And so we are definitely looking forward to 20, well, I guess fall of this year.
Fall of this
Picking it
year,
back
yeah.
up. We take the summers off. Nap takes the summers off. We try to focus on rest and doing whatever else
Hmm.
our hearts desire.
Yes.
Um, so we will be back in the
Hmm.
fall. But if you're interested in more of our content, we do have a podcast called In the Telling that comes out
Hmm.
wherever you get your podcasts or on our YouTube channel. And
Yes.
we just published one, a great one that, what did it come out like 2 or 3 days ago? Maybe
It
last week.
happened last week. Yeah, last week.
Yes. On a lovely woman who's 88 and was just talking about her mother and herself and dealing with Alzheimer's. Uh,
Hmm. Great story.
we have, and we have about three more coming out soon. So we'll have another one coming out later this month or early July.
Hmm.
So if you're interested in hearing some family stories, it's a great podcast to check out. But I don't know, Stephen, anything else?
Um, Definitely reach out to us. We have a newsletter coming out pretty soon, and you can be sign up for that newsletter by going to our website, the nomadicarchivistproject.com. And at the bottom of the page, it says keep in touch with us. And so that newsletter is coming out very soon. You can get a sense of what we've been doing for the last few months. And definitely, if you have comments and questions, just send us an email. Just
Yes.
send us an email.
All right. Well, happy summer, everyone.
Ugh.